have a problem. You see, like you, I'm sure, since you clicked on this video, I have grand dreams of being a beloved author with many titles to her name and having books that people not only read, but that they love, that make them laugh at least once or twice and think a little bit differently about the world than when they started reading it. But the issue is that in order to realize this dream and become this ideal version of myself, I need to finish writing some books. So that's where we come to today. This video is going to be the first in a series, and what are you getting into, right? What are the sections? We're gonna have hits such as how did we get here, right? Followed up by what am I gonna do about it, and then finally, this is the best one, why I need your help. And so with these, we're gonna kind of go through what my plan is and how I'm gonna get from where I am now, which is lovely and fun and great, right? To that vision, or at least, a step closer than where I am. So if we haven't met before, I'm Abby Geigerman. I am the author of the young adult fantasy book, The Power of Shadows. Lovely little fun book, but I have not really made a ton of progress since. So that's where we are. So I first wrote that book in college, actually. I graduated college in 2022, and then I published The Power of Shadows in 2023. The manuscript I'm working on now, I started shortly after finishing drafting The Power of Shadows, while I was waiting on beta reader feedback and other editing notes, and I wrote the first 70,000 words of it on May 7th, 2022, which is, we're nearing on 3 years since that day, which is kind of crazy to think about. Then I completely scrapped that, so I think I'd written to 80k words and then scrapped that. Then I started rewriting it and got up to where we are today with 60,000 words with intermittent editing and changing things and just continually adjusting. Since then, I have sent it to a few different beta readers, alpha readers really, because it's not been in a complete state where they can see the full story arc because it just hasn't been completed. And so that's kind of where we are today. So what am I gonna do about it? Obviously, I don't want it to continue sitting at 60,000 words in a nebulous place. I want these characters to have a nice story arc, to not just be sitting in the struggle and to finally get what they deserve, good or bad. And so here is my thoughts. 1, I'm going to set up some systems. 2, unfortunately, I'm going to have to prioritize, which is not my strong suit. Not great at the word no. And then 3, I'm going to celebrate some milestones. I'm going to set up different little treats so that I will be incentivized to keep going instead of just dropping it for a few months and then coming back and dropping it and coming back in this kind of bad cycle I found myself in. So first, with systems, here are the 3 different things that I'm going to try. And I don't know if you've read Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's a very popular one. Actually, I think it's one of the most popular books. But he talks about setting up systems rather than trying to just target one individual end goal. So here are my systems. I'm going to write first thing in the morning. So I have a pretty long commute, about an hour and a half. I go into the office 3 days a week, so I'll write on the bus. I know I like writing on the bus, and then the days that I'm home, I'm going to wake up and before doing anything else or getting to work, I'm going to try and write. I'm also going to write as soon as work finishes. So I sometimes fall into the trap of getting home from work and being tired and then just going on YouTube or some sort of random scrolling and not really getting to anything that I want to do. And then after having done the scrolling, I feel lethargic and not really like I want to be creative at all. So when I get home, I'm going to do a little writing, whether that's 5 minutes, whether that's several hours, I'm going to do that. And finally, I'm going to write before bed. So instead of doing a little pre-sleep scroll or pre-sleep reading, I'm going to replace that with writing. And the summary of all of this is that writing is just going to be my new default activity. Whereas before, you have the apps on your phone that you almost like must by muscle memory go and click on. I want that to be writing. I want that to be this project and doing what I need to do to bring this project into at least a semi-complete state. So those are my systems. Next, prioritize. Unfortunately, in order to accomplish anything big, you kind of got to make some sacrifices. I feel like, you just got to make sacrifices. You got to prioritize. And especially in this day and age where, I have a 9-to-5, that is not always 9 to 5. Sometimes it's more than that. There's other places that I'm going to have to pick to deprioritize in order to get this done in 30 days. So one is I'm not going to watch any YouTube, which is going to be really hard for me and kind of ironic given, where we're spending this time together, but I'm going to not watch any for these 30 days. Also, I tend to talk to my friends a lot while gaming, and so I'm going to only do 1 game a day. I really should say none, but I like my friends. I like talking to them and keeping up with their lives. So 1, and then I can sit and chat with them while they game, but really just focus on writing. Okay, and then 3, the fun one, celebrating milestones. I am going to have a few different milestones that I can celebrate. So I have obviously a little bit done. I have 13 scenes that I've identified that need to be pretty heavily reworked. I have 23 scenes that I want to add. Now, normally I'm a pantser, so this whole plotting thing has been very new to me, but we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it'll help me actually finish this one. And then, so one of my milestones is 80,000 words, which we're gonna probably dip below 60,000 before we get back up. So another one is all scenes reworked. So those 13 scenes I identified, I want to have another little celebration when I complete those. And then 10 scenes added, because 10 is, a nicer number than, 23 obviously doesn't divide evenly, and 10 just kind of like nice and round. So those are my 3 different milestones that I'm going to celebrate at. Haven't picked the celebrations. If you have any ideas down in the comments, please, if you have any ideas, please leave them down in the comments. Taking suggestions. All right, and this gets to the most interactive portion of our chat, which is why I need your help. Now, when writing The Power of Shadows, I was on TikTok a lot, just talking about it, and I think that was really good accountability. I was also living in a house with 5 other people that I could just talk to about it every day, and that would see me working on it or not working on it. And I do live with my partner now, but it's just easier to get cozy and want to watch something instead of sitting down and writing. I also haven't set really specific goals. Life after college is just kind of interminable, and there's not a lot of structure. So there's not clear deadlines unless I set them for myself, which is what we're doing now. Anyways, back to the story. So I was, pretty active on TikTok, and I found so many fantastic critique partners and beta readers, and that was super, super helpful in getting this into, the form of a fully realized novel that people could read and that I was proud of. So at the end of this 30 days and this first entire draft of Potentia, I want to send it out to beta readers. So if it sounds like something you'd be interested in, please subscribe to my Substack. That's where I'm going to be sending out the information about beta reading once it's done, and also just other author updates. And so what is Potentia? Yeah, what is this? Why would you be interested in it? It's a dark academia novel with two kind of rivals that are family friends, and they end up going to this magical school where they learn that you can defy the laws of gravity if you understand the laws of physics well enough. So they can walk on walls, and there's this whole city-state that's kind of set up around that. I'm very excited about it. I really love the character dynamics, and if you like romance, I love a dash of romance in every story, so I'm a sucker for that. Then you might like it. And I'll probably be providing sneak peeks throughout the month as I continue working on it, so you can get a better idea of whether it'd be something that you'd be interested in. But yes, if you would potentially want a beta read, I'll have all the links down in the description below, so you can sign up, and it's not a binding contract or anything, obviously. That's also just where you can get updates about my writing. That and here. So I'm going to be posting also the progress every week on this channel. If you want to be notified when that comes out, you can go ahead and I think click the bell and subscribe. So that is the end of why I need your help. Also because I just, writing is lonely and a very introverted activity, and so I think any way I can find to connect with other people who have the same delusions as me, of wanting to be a writer and enjoying just sitting and hallucinating on paper for hours at a time. Would love to connect. So with that, this is the first installment of Potentia, and finishing it in 30 days. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I will catch you in the next one, where hopefully I have some pretty good updates. If not, one of the milestones. Not one of the milestones probably, but some updates. All right. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.